Hi everyone, welcome to Monica's Singapore Kitchen. Today I'll be cooking Sambal Lengkong, which is Peranakan spicy fish floss. The main ingredients are spice paste, steamed fish, coconut milk, and seasonings. Although we need only 4 basic ingredients, the devil is in the cooking. It has to be stirred continuously for about an hour, a process that cannot be rushed. Normally, Sambal Lengkong is prepared during Chinese New Year. Since one has to endure long hours of cooking in front of the stove, it makes this homemade Sambal Lengkong all the more precious and a meaningful gift. Come along with me to see how it is prepared. Let's make the spice paste. Here we have a platter of spices. I will name each spice as I load each spice into the blender, starting with the shallots, roughly chopped, garlic, roughly chopped, the white parts of the lemongrass, blue ginger sliced thinly, ginger sliced thinly as well, turmeric roughly chopped, candlenuts, and fresh red chilies that has been de-seeded. Pour a bit of water to help with the blending process. So we want to achieve a texture somewhere between a coarse relish and almost like a smooth puree. You can still see some fibers and bits of pieces of chili. This is the texture that we are trying to achieve. Here I have 1.5 kg of Spanish mackerel. In Malay it's called ikan tenggiri. The other types of fish that you can use as substitute will be things like wolf herring, red snapper, white snapper, garupa, or anything that is a fleshy type of fish. So what we are going to do is to steam this for 15 minutes. So 15 minutes later, our fish is ready. So we are going to blend this together with the juices. So before we do that, let it cool down first. So after cooling, it'll be much easier to remove the bones. So if it is not cooked, you have to use a pincer to pluck out the bones. But since this is cooked, it is very easy to remove the bones. You just simply have to sweep it and pick it up. Yep. So that's how easy it is when it is cooked. So then we also need to remove the skin, and of course the skin is much easier to remove when it is already cooked. So sometimes the skin can be so thin that you just need to gently scrape it and scratch it a little bit and move every part of the skin from the flesh. Yep. So you're going to do this for every piece. So then break it into smaller pieces so it is more processor friendly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a food processor to blend it. You can use mortar and pestle. If you are making Sambal Lengkong to sell, the mortar and pestle method would be more suitable as the grinding motion of the mortar and pestle results in a more flossy Sambal Lengkong. The food processor tends to cut it into smaller pieces. Since I'm making this for my own consumption, then it is more efficient to use the food processor. Okay, so I'm blending it in batches. So this is my first batch. It looks something like this. So it is actually very fine, but it is looks crumbly, so it's okay, no problem. The second batch, also pour it into a container. You can also use a blender, but use it under the pulse mode so that you don't chop it into too small a piece. Okay, let's cook our sambal. You need not add any oil, so it is a very healthy sambal without any oil. So pour in our spice paste, our blended fish, our thick coconut milk, 500 milliliters of it. You can use the box variety or the fresh first pressed coconut. So use the thick one, yeah? So also add in 2 turmeric leaves, roughly, tear it like that. We're going to remove these leaves at the end of our cooking process. So then we also need to add about 10 kaffir lime leaves. Separate the leaves from the stalk. Okay, something like this. Alright, so now we're going to turn the heat up. Before that, we need to add in the seasonings. Coriander powder, pepper powder, salt, about 2 teaspoons of salt. Then we need to add the anchovies powder. Then about 60 grams of sugar, roughly about, I would say, 4 tablespoons of sugar. So just add according to your taste that you want. Okay, so we are going to switch on the heater, and then we are going to stir this continuously for approximately 1 hour over medium heat for the first half hour and over low heat for the second half hour. It is easy to stir at the beginning as our sambal is very liquidy, but it gets progressively more resistant to stirring in the middle process, and then it becomes easier again at the end when the floss has completely dried up. So 20 minutes later, you can see that our sambal is a bit drier. It tends to clump together, so use a ladle to press it in between stirring so that our sambal will be flossy and not pebbly. 40 minutes later, our sambal looks even drier. The color has darkened a bit. You can detect a delicious aroma. So lower the heat to low and continue to stir. 60 minutes later, our sambal is almost ready. This is a time to stir diligently to avoid black specks that can be formed easily at the base of the wok. It looks light and fluffy as most of the moisture is gone. This is a time to remove the lime leaves and turmeric leaves. There you go. So you can throw this away. He has done his job. So then you can fluff the sambal and spread it out to achieve even cooling. So wait for it to cool. Okay. So when the sambal has cooled, store it in clean jars. Sambal Lengkong can be frozen for 2 to 3 months. Hence, this makes it a suitable gift for someone going overseas to bring a bite of home along. The most gratifying way to enjoy Sambal Lengkong is to put it between 2 pieces of buttered bread accompanied by thin sliced cucumbers. It can also be used as a filling in wrapped glutinous rice. I normally use Sambal Lengkong as topping for lightly blanched brinjals, okra, and other vegetables. It can also be mixed with white rice in nasi ulam or stir-fry with French beans and long beans. Sambal Lengkong is very aromatic. It tastes sweet, spicy, and has a strong umami taste from the fish that we have added. It is really delicious. Whether Sambal Lengkong is cooked to be enjoyed at home or given away as a gift, we will all savor it slowly as a mark of appreciation for the long hours of stirring and stirring. This will be a perfect gift for the next Chinese New Year or for Hari Raya for the Muslims. I hope you will give this recipe a try someday. Thanks for stopping by, and as usual, happy cooking!